Some people go their entire lives feeling like they belong to this world, and then there are people like you, people who always felt different, even as children. People who could walk into a room and instantly feel the energy shift. People who were misunderstood, rejected, or isolated for reasons they could never fully explain. If that has been your life, this message may not be random, because some souls are marked from birth, not for fame, not for popularity, but for something deeper. You may have spent years wondering why your life has felt heavier than everyone else's, why you outgrew people so quickly, why betrayal followed you, why loneliness became familiar, and why your spirit never felt comfortable settling for superficial connections. And the strange part is, even after everything you survived, something inside you kept telling you there was a reason. That feeling was not imaginary. For centuries, many believed certain birth dates carried unusual spiritual significance, that some individuals arrive in this world with heightened intuition, emotional sensitivity, and a destiny that separates them from the crowd long before they even understand it themselves. These people are often called the chosen, not because their lives are easier, but because their path is harder. They are the ones forced to awaken through pain. The ones who suffer silently while carrying a light others cannot explain. The ones who feel spiritually connected to something greater from a very young age. And if you were born on one of the dates we are about to reveal, it may finally explain why your entire life has felt so different. Because you did not find this message by accident. Something led you here, and before this video ends, you may finally understand why. From the very beginning, chosen ones rarely feel normal. Even as children, they often sensed they were different from everyone around them. While other people easily connected with groups, trends, and shallow conversations, you may have always felt slightly disconnected, like your spirit could not fully attach itself to the world around you. Many chosen ones grow up feeling isolated without understanding why. They may have had friends, family, or people around them, yet still carried an unexplainable loneliness deep inside. It was never simply about being alone physically, it was the feeling of being emotionally and spiritually misunderstood. You may have noticed things other people ignored. You could sense tension before arguments started. You could feel when someone secretly disliked you even when they smiled in your face. Your intuition often warned you about people long before the truth revealed itself. And because of this heightened awareness, life became emotionally exhausting. Chosen ones absorb energy deeply. Loud environments drain them. Fake people disturb their peace. Negative energy lingers in their spirit longer than it does for most people. This is why many chosen ones naturally prefer solitude. Not because they hate people, but because isolation feels safer than constantly carrying the emotional weight of everyone around them. Solitude becomes a place where their spirit can finally breathe. While others recharge through crowds and attention, chosen ones often heal in silence. They need space to think, reflect, and reconnect with themselves because their inner world is far deeper than most people realize. And unfortunately, being different often attracts rejection. Many chosen ones experience betrayal early in life. They are judged for being quiet, emotionally intense, overly observant, or too sensitive. Some are mocked for dreaming bigger than others. Some are abandoned by people they trusted the most. Others spend years trying to fit in, only to realize that no matter how much they shrink themselves, they still feel separate from the crowd. But what if that separation was never a punishment? What if your spirit always felt uncomfortable in ordinary environments because you were never designed to live an ordinary life? Many chosen ones spend years believing something is wrong with them, when in reality, their soul was simply built differently. Their sensitivity is not weakness. Their emotional depth is not a flaw. Their intuition is not imagination. These are signs of a spirit that was meant to awaken beyond surface-level living. That is why your path has always felt different. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to see what others ignore, feel what others avoid, and walk a path most people would never understand. And for many chosen ones, the first sign of that deeper calling begins with the mysterious timing of their birth itself. For thousands of years, ancient civilizations believed that the moment a person entered this world carried spiritual meaning far beyond what most people could see. Long before modern society existed, many cultures studied the connection between birth dates, destiny, cosmic alignment, and spiritual purpose. They believed that certain souls arrived during specific moments in time for a reason, not by accident, but through divine timing. In ancient temples, sacred texts, and spiritual traditions, birth timing was often viewed as a hidden code connected to a person's life path. Some believed that certain dates carried unusually strong spiritual energy, producing individuals with heightened intuition, emotional depth, leadership abilities, and mysterious inner wisdom. These people were often described as old souls, individuals who seemed spiritually awake long before everyone else around them. Even ancient numerology taught that numbers hold vibration and meaning. Certain dates were believed to amplify sensitivity, inner vision, creativity, and spiritual awareness. It was said that people born under these energies often carried missions that would only reveal themselves through struggle, transformation, and awakening. Their lives were rarely easy because they were never meant to live ordinary stories. Many spiritual traditions also believed that chosen ones often arrive during periods of energetic transition, moments when the world itself is changing. These souls were believed to carry healing energy, the ability to inspire others, and the strength to break painful cycles that existed long before they were born. Some were natural protectors. Others became guides, healers, creators, or leaders whose presence alone deeply affected the people around them. And strangely, many of these individuals shared similar life experiences: isolation, betrayal, emotional intensity, a deep feeling that they were connected to something greater but could never fully explain it. It was almost as if their spirit remembered something their mind could not yet understand. But ancient teachings warned of something important. A spiritually marked life is not an easy life. The people believed to carry these powerful birth energies often faced the hardest battles. Their awakening usually came through pain, loneliness, rejection, and transformation. The weight they carried was heavier because their purpose was greater. And now, after centuries of mystery surrounding these spiritually significant birth dates, we are about to reveal the dates many believe are connected to the energy of the chosen. As you listen carefully, one question may begin echoing deep inside your spirit. Could this finally explain why your life has never felt ordinary? First group of chosen birth dates, the spiritual watchers. Now we begin to uncover the first group of birth dates often associated with what many call the spiritual watchers. These are individuals born on dates such as 1st, 10th, 19th, and 28th of any month. Across different spiritual interpretations, these numbers are linked with heightened awareness, leadership energy, and deep intuitive perception. People born on these dates are often described as highly observant souls, individuals who notice what others miss, feel what others ignore, and sense truth beneath the surface of every interaction. If this is your birth date, you may have noticed something unusual about yourself from a very young age. You don't just hear words, you feel intentions. You don't just see people, you read energy. And because of this, you often knew when something was wrong long before anyone said a single word. Spiritual watchers are naturally alert. They carry an internal awareness that feels almost impossible to explain. In many cases, they can enter a room and immediately sense tension, dishonesty, or emotional imbalance. While others rely on logic alone, these individuals rely on something deeper. Intuition that feels automatic, almost like a silent warning system inside their spirit. But this gift comes with a cost, because when you can see more, you also feel more. Many spiritual watchers attract people who are emotionally lost, broken, or confused. Without even trying, they become emotional anchors for others. Friends, partners, and even strangers may rely on them for comfort, advice, or stability. At first, this feels meaningful, like a purpose. But over time, it often becomes draining. You may have found yourself always being the strong one, the listener, the healer, the person people turn to when everything falls apart, yet when you needed support, very few stayed. And this is where the pattern becomes painful. Spiritual watchers often experience fake friendships. People come close because they feel safe around your energy, but not everyone stays for the right reasons. Some take, some drain. Some disappear when you stop giving. This leads to cycles of abandonment that feel deeply personal, even when they are not. But the truth is, your energy was never meant to be ordinary. It was never meant to be easily accessible to everyone. And not everyone who enters your life is meant to remain in it. You are designed to see through illusions, to sense truth where others seek comfort, to feel deeply even when the world tells you to harden your heart. And although this awareness can feel lonely at times, it is also what protects you from deception that others cannot see. Because spiritual watchers are not meant to be naive. They are meant to be awake. And if your birth date falls within this group, your life has likely been shaped by this silent inner knowing. The feeling that you are always one step ahead emotionally, even when life feels overwhelming. But you are only one part of this mystery. Because there are other groups of chosen ones with completely different energies, struggles, and spiritual roles. Second group of birth dates, the silent warriors. Now we move into the second group of chosen ones, known as the silent warriors. These are individuals often associated with birth dates such as 7th, 16th, and 25th of any month. In many spiritual interpretations, these numbers are linked to deep inner strength, introspection, and emotional endurance. But unlike the first group, whose gift is awareness, the silent warriors carry something heavier, resilience forged through experience. If you were born on one of these dates, your life may not have been loud, but it has likely been intense in ways others do not fully see. Because silent warriors rarely show what they are going through. On the surface, they look composed, controlled, even calm in chaos. But inside, there is often a constant battle, emotional pressure, overthinking, spiritual fatigue, and moments of feeling like you are carrying invisible weight that no one else can understand. Many silent warriors learn early in life how to survive emotionally rather than express everything they feel. They become strong because they had to. They learn silence not because they lack emotion, but because they have experienced too much to explain easily. These are the people who have faced betrayal and still kept moving forward, who have been misunderstood, abandoned, or deeply hurt, yet never fully broken. Even when life felt overwhelming, something inside them refused to give up. But this strength often comes with hidden pain. Silent warriors are deeply affected by emotional wounds, even if they never show it. They replay conversations in their mind. They carry memories longer than others realize. They feel everything intensely, but they rarely let the world see the damage. And because of this, they often go through periods of isolation. Not always physical isolation, but emotional isolation, feeling like no one truly understands the depth of what they carry inside. Many of them experience what feels like spiritual warfare. Moments where everything in life seems to test their patience, their faith, their identity, and their emotional stability all at once. And yet somehow, they continue forward. That is what makes them warriors. Not because life was easy, but because it was not. Some silent warriors went through heartbreak that changed them forever. Others experienced betrayal that forced them to rebuild their entire emotional foundation. Some faced repeated losses that taught them how to stand alone when no one else remained. And still, they survived. But here is what makes their journey powerful. Every challenge they faced was shaping their strength. Every moment of pain was building emotional depth. Every ending was preparing them for a version of themselves they could not yet see. Silent warriors are not defined by what broke them. They are defined by what did not destroy them. And even though they often feel alone in their struggles, their presence carries a quiet strength that others can feel without understanding. Because while others may fight outward battles, silent warriors fight battles within and still find a way to rise. But they are not the only ones carrying a hidden spiritual role. There is another group whose energy is completely different, and their presence changes everything around them. Third group of birth dates, the Lightbringers. Now we arrive at the third group of chosen ones, known as the Lightbringers. These are often associated with birth dates such as 3rd, 12th, 21st, and 30th of any month. In many spiritual interpretations, these numbers are connected to creativity, emotional expression, compassion, and the ability to influence others through presence alone. People born on these dates often carry an energy that feels different. lighter, warmer, and deeply comforting to those around them. If you are one of these individuals, you may have noticed something about your effect on people. You don't even need to try, and yet people open up to you. Strangers feel safe around you. Friends naturally come to you for comfort. Even those who are emotionally closed off often find themselves relaxing in your presence without understanding why. This is the energy of the light bringer. You are someone who can uplift a room without speaking loudly. Someone who can sense emotional pain in others almost instantly. Someone who feels deeply, loves deeply, and often gives more than they receive. But this gift is not always easy to carry. Because light bringers are also highly vulnerable to emotional overload. When you naturally care for others, people begin to rely on your energy. You may have experienced situations where others lean on you constantly for support, advice, or emotional healing until you begin to feel drained yourself. Not because you lack strength, but because your compassion has no natural filter. You feel people's pain as if it is your own. And because of this, you may attract what many call emotional energy takers. People who are drawn to your light but do not always know how to protect or balance it. Over time, this can lead to exhaustion, confusion, and moments where you feel like you're giving too much of yourself away. Yet even after all of that, you still care. That is what makes you different. Light bringers do not stop loving easily. They do not shut down their emotions permanently. Even after betrayal, disappointment, or emotional burnout, there is still something inside them that wants to help, create, and heal. Your creativity is also part of your spiritual signature. Many light bringers express themselves through art, music, writing, communication, or simply through the way they connect with others. Your presence often carries inspiration even when you are not trying to be inspiring. And here is something important to understand. Your sensitivity is not a weakness, it is the source of your influence. Because in a world that often feels heavy, your energy brings relief, your empathy brings healing. Your presence reminds others that softness still exists. But your journey is also about learning balance, learning when to give, when to protect your energy, and when to step back so you can refill your own spirit. Because even light must be protected to continue shining. And as powerful as your energy is, there is still more to understand about why chosen ones experience so much pain before they fully awaken to their purpose. Why chosen ones go through so much pain? One of the biggest questions chosen ones ask themselves is simple yet painful. Why does my life have to be this hard? Why does it feel like just when things start to improve, something falls apart again? Why do relationships end in betrayal? Why does rejection feel like a pattern instead of an accident? Why does everything feel like a test that never fully stops? The truth is, many chosen ones do not go through pain once. They go through it in cycles. Repeated experiences of loss, disappointment, misunderstanding, and emotional exhaustion can make life feel heavy, almost like no matter how hard they try, they are always starting over again. Friends come and go. Opportunities open and close. Relationships begin with hope and end with lessons. And over time, this can create deep loneliness, not just being alone, but feeling like no one truly understands what you carry inside. But spiritually speaking, many traditions and interpretations suggest something very different is happening beneath the surface. Pain is not just punishment. It is preparation. Chosen ones are often shaped through experiences that build emotional depth, resilience, and awareness that cannot be taught through comfort. Betrayal teaches discernment. Rejection teaches self-worth. Loneliness forces inner awakening. Hardship reveals strength that was always hidden beneath the surface. Every setback forces growth that would not have happened otherwise. Even emotional exhaustion carries a hidden purpose. It pushes the spirit to stop relying on external validation and begin turning inward for clarity, identity, and strength. Many chosen ones only realize their true power after they have been broken in the places they thought would destroy them, after losing what they thought they needed, after walking away from what was familiar. After surviving moments they never thought they would make it through, and yet they are still here. That is not coincidence, that is transformation, because what feels like delay is often development. What feels like rejection is often redirection. What feels like loss is often protection from something that would have stopped their growth. Pain has a strange way of revealing who you really are when everything else is stripped away. And for chosen ones, that revelation is essential, because they were never meant to stay the same version of themselves forever. They were meant to evolve through experience, through awareness, through emotional and spiritual awakening. The truth is, the pain you went through did not just happen to you. It shaped you. It sharpened your intuition. It deepened your empathy. It strengthened your resilience. It awakened parts of you that comfort would have kept asleep. And even though it did not feel meaningful at the time, it was quietly preparing you for something greater. Because before purpose is revealed, preparation must come first. And for many chosen ones, the next stage of their journey begins when they start noticing something shifting within themselves. Subtle changes, inner clarity, new awareness, signs that awakening is beginning. The signs you are awakening to your calling. At a certain point in the journey of a chosen one, something begins to shift internally. It does not happen loudly. It is not always dramatic. In fact, it often begins so subtly that you only notice it in hindsight. But slowly, you start becoming aware that you are no longer the same person you used to be. One of the first signs is solitude. Not forced isolation, but chosen distance. You begin to prefer silence over noise. Crowded environments feel more draining than before. Conversations that once entertained you now feel shallow or repetitive. You find yourself needing space, not because you dislike people, but because your inner world is expanding. Another sign is vivid dreams and inner awareness. Your dream life becomes more active, more symbolic, more emotionally intense. You may wake up with a strong feeling that something meaningful just happened, even if you cannot fully explain it. Your intuition becomes louder, clearer, and harder to ignore. Then come synchronicities, repeated numbers, meaningful coincidences, unexpected encounters that feel too aligned to be random. You start noticing patterns in life that others dismiss, but to you, they feel like quiet messages guiding your attention. At the same time, your emotional clarity begins to strengthen. You start seeing people and situations for what they truly are. Confusion decreases. Illusions fade. You no longer ignore red flags or force yourself to stay in places that no longer feel right. There is a growing sense of inner honesty that becomes impossible to ignore. Because of this, many relationships begin to shift. Some people naturally fall away from your life, not always through conflict, but through distance. Conversations become less frequent. Connections lose their depth. And while it may feel like loss at first, there is also a strange sense of alignment happening underneath it all. Your boundaries also become stronger. You begin saying no more easily. You protect your energy more consciously. You stop over-explaining yourself to people who misunderstand you. And slowly, you realize that not everyone deserves unlimited access to your presence. This stage of awakening can feel confusing because it is both emotional and liberating at the same time. You are letting go, but also becoming clearer. You are losing certain connections, but gaining yourself. And deep inside, something begins to feel different. A quiet sense that you are being guided towards something you cannot yet fully see. Because awakening is not just about awareness. It is about alignment. And when you begin aligning with your true path, life starts reorganizing itself around you. This is the point where many chosen ones begin asking deeper questions about their purpose, their direction, and the hidden meaning behind everything they have experienced so far. And what they begin to realize is this: nothing they went through was random. It was all leading them somewhere. The hidden purpose behind your birth date. At this stage of your journey, one truth begins to rise above everything else you thought you understood about your life. Nothing about your existence is random, not even the timing of your birth. Many spiritual traditions and symbolic teachings suggest that a birth date is more than a number on a calendar. It is a signature, a pattern, a symbolic imprint connected to a deeper life mission that unfolds over time. And for chosen ones, that mission is rarely simple. It is not about comfort. It is not about blending in. And it is certainly not about living a life without challenges. Instead, your birth date is often viewed as a symbolic indicator of the kind of impact you are meant to have in this world. For some, that impact is healing. You may have been placed in environments where emotional wounds were common, not because you were meant to suffer without reason, but because you were being shaped into someone who understands pain deeply enough to help others heal from it. Your empathy becomes a bridge for people who feel lost in their own struggles. For others, the purpose is leadership. Not always leadership in the traditional sense, but the ability to guide, influence, or inspire others simply through your presence, your decisions, and your refusal to accept limitation. People may look to you for direction even when you are not trying to lead. Some are here to break cycles, family patterns, emotional patterns, generational wounds that repeat until someone becomes strong enough and aware enough to end them. You may be the one who notices what others ignored for years and chooses a different path, even when it is difficult. Others are here to inspire. Through creativity, expression, communication, or resilience, your life becomes a quiet example of what is possible when someone refuses to give up, even after being tested repeatedly. And many chosen ones carry the role of emotional protection, sensing the pain in others, stepping in when needed, and offering stability in moments of chaos. But none of these roles are separate. They often overlap. Because your purpose is not limited to one definition, it evolves as you evolve. The deeper truth is that your birth date is not a limitation, it is a signal of potential. A symbolic reminder that your life carries meaning beyond what you can currently see. And that meaning only becomes clear in hindsight. When you look back at everything you survived, everything you overcame, everything that once felt meaningless but now feels like preparation, you begin to see a pattern. You are being shaped, not randomly, but intentionally, through experience, awareness, and transformation. And now, as this realization deepens, something inside you begins to shift again. Because understanding your purpose is only the beginning. The real transformation happens when you start living it. Final emotional revelation. You were marked from the beginning. Now everything comes full circle. Because if you have followed this message this far, something inside you already knows the truth. You were never random, you were never forgotten, and you were never too different for no reason. From the beginning, your life has carried a pattern, moments of pain, moments of isolation, moments of being misunderstood, all shaping something deeper within you. At times, it may have felt like life was working against you, like nothing made sense, like you were constantly being tested without explanation. But what if those moments were not breaking you? What if they were building you? Every emotional wound you survived strengthened your awareness. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment. Every moment of loneliness forced you inward to discover parts of yourself you would have never met in comfort. Your sensitivity was never a flaw. It was a signal. Your emotional depth was never weakness. It was awareness. Your struggles were never punishment. They were preparation. And now, something is beginning to shift. You are no longer the version of yourself who only survives what happens to you. You are becoming someone who understands what it all means. Someone who can look back at the chaos and finally see the hidden order within it. This is the moment many chosen ones reach, when confusion starts turning into clarity. When pain starts turning into wisdom. When isolation starts turning into self-understanding. And in that realization, something powerful awakens. Self-worth that is no longer dependent on others. Confidence that comes from surviving what once felt impossible. Inner strength that was built through experience, not theory. You begin to see that your path was never meant to look like everyone else's, because your role was never to follow, it was to become. To grow through what you endured. To rise through what tried to break you. To understand yourself on a deeper level than most people ever will. And even if your journey has felt long, confusing, or unfair, it has been moving you toward this exact moment of awareness. A moment where you stop questioning your worth and start recognizing your power. Because you were not just born into this world. You were marked by experience, shaped by transformation, and guided toward awakening from the very beginning. And now, as you step into this new understanding, a new season quietly begins, one where you no longer see yourself as lost, but as becoming. Before this video ends, there is one important thing you should understand. You are not alone in what you feel. Across the world, there are people just like you, People who have walked through silence, confusion, emotional intensity, and moments where they questioned everything about their path. And yet, something inside them kept pushing them forward, even when nothing around them made sense. If you recognized yourself in this message, take a moment to reflect on that, because awareness is the beginning of connection. And now, this space becomes something more than just a video. It becomes a place where chosen ones can recognize each other through shared experiences, shared emotions, and shared understanding. So, I want to ask you something simple. What is your birth date? And which part of this message felt the most accurate to your life? Share your experience in the comments, not just for validation, but to connect with others who may be going through the same journey in silence. Sometimes, just realizing you are not alone is the beginning of healing. And if you are reading this right now, remember this. Your story is still unfolding. Your path is still revealing itself, and everything you have been through has been leading you here. Do not underestimate what you have survived or what you are becoming, because some people will never understand your journey, but they were never meant to. You were meant to understand it. IETC. And as you move forward from this moment, carry this truth with you. Some people are born into the world, but some are sent.